rather had them do a reanimation of the Yu Yu Hakusho anime than put the show out. Do you know how they did like Hunter x Hunter? They
Yeah.
re-released it and added some stuff to it, and I like that idea. I would rather them put the anime out again with modern animation, added something to the story, maybe focus more on the spirit detective aspect at the beginning, and just add some more stuff to the show rather than release a live action. I think right now the hot thing in anime right now is to just have a live action
Live
version.
action.
We got it's so much coming out even this year, bro. Do you think the hype did it? Do you think it lived up to the hype? Because our hype was we were pretty hyped for it, but then I think our expectations got a little tempered. Where as it got closer to the release and more information started coming out, I think we started to temper our expectations a little bit. But do you think it lived up to the hype?
As fans and as for two people who love the show, no, I don't think it's to the hype.
Mm-hmm.
They left out too much on the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and I feel like a lot of people feel that way.
I was going to ask you, what would you have kept? What would you have kept that they had in the show, and what would you have added if we're just for season one aspect?
What I kept for the live action?
So what
That
they had in the live action, what would you have kept? And from the anime, what would you have added or changed?
I would have kept the main characters how they are. I mean, maybe a little tweak to Hiei. But pretty much all of the main characters, I think they did a pretty decent job with. Um, I like that. I like the aspect they had where the kid was getting bullied and showing that Yusuke wasn't just some juvenile asshole. Like he was a decent guy. I like that. I would have kept that in there. I do like when they brought the insects in. I just don't like that we didn't get a conclusion for it because we know what they really meant from the anime.
There you go.
I do
We knew what
like
they
it.
were meant for. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that they brought him in and gave the story a more dynamic story for the live action. But I just don't like how they kind of just didn't mean anything after a while. Never got a conclusion for it.
You know what
Yeah,
I like?
honestly, what's up?
I like that they gave Keiko more of a story. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now, let's listen. I'm not the biggest fan of Keiko. I just whatever if she could be in the story, I really don't care. But I just like that they gave her more of kind of like her more
Mm-hmm.
involvement in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, you
Absolutely, I
don't
agree.
you don't find out that Keiko's family has a ramen shop until I think a little bit later in the anime. Well, she really doesn't have involvement in the ramen shop until later in the
Mm-hmm.
anime, but the
Yeah, it's
fact
later
that
for
you
sure.
see it more in the live, did you actually see it in the live action? Her actually cooking and doing whatever and helping around the ramen shop. It kind of brings it more down to earth to me.
Yeah, that's one thing I do appreciate about the live action. It kind of focus on characters that didn't get a lot of the spotlight in
Mm-hmm.
the anime. Um, but then again, it kind of took away from some characters. It kind of took a little bit away from like Kurobara. I think it took a little bit away from Hiei. But I think they did a really good job with Yusuke, Kurama, and like side characters like Keiko got a decent story. I wish we
Yeah.
could have met Kurobara's sister. She's one of
Man,
my
I was
favorite
just
characters
about
in
to
the
bring
show.
that up. I was just because
Yeah, I
you want to
really
know
like her character.
because you want to know something. People are
What's
gonna.
up?
There's gonna be some like we were saying. There's gonna be some people who are gonna go back and watch the anime and they're gonna be confused
Mhm,
as hell because they're gonna be like, "Wait a
mhm,
minute, Kuema's a baby? Wait a minute, Kuwabara
mhm.
has a sister? It's not gonna make sense."
Yeah, bro. It's gonna confuse them.
They're gonna be
It's gonna confuse them.
confused.
Yeah, but my thing is at least they're going back and watching. Hey, that's
Yeah,
that's what. And our boy Colston had made a good point. I talked to him a couple of days ago. He would say I would have rather. This is his not word for word, but this is basically what we said. Would have rather had them do a reanimation of the Yu Yu Hakusho anime than put the show out. Do you know how they did like Hunter x Hunter? They
yeah.
re-released it and added some stuff to it, And I like that idea. I would rather them put the anime out again with modern animation, added something to the story, maybe focus more on the spirit detective aspect at the beginning, and just add some more stuff to the show rather than release a live action. I think right now the hot thing in anime right now is to just have a live action
Live
version.
action.
We got it's so much coming out even this year, bro. So that I think that was an excellent point made by our friend Colston.
This is what I think too, and I know we could talk about that all day. Things that
Mm-hmm.
they could have, if they ended up reanimating it, things they could have add, maybe more character development for people that we really didn't get to see their full story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I agree with you that there's such a push to put these shows in live action. Like I think they're gonna do like a My Hero live action
Yep, My
this year. They're
Hero,
gonna try and push for it.
My
Like
Hero, Naruto. I seen a couple, dude. Well, it's already been Attack on Titan. Plenty of
yeah,
Attack on Titan's live act, but
the
it's
question
it, it
is this needed? It was are those needed? Like a certain live action, is it needed?
it's definitely not needed. It's not. But I mean, it's kind of like with the superhero. A decade ago, with every like just superhero movies coming out of nowhere. I think it's kind of like, oh, excuse me. I think it's kind of going to be like that, where we're just seeing a bunch of the classic animes get a live action adaptation. Which, like I said, the One Piece one was pretty good, bro.
Yeah, no, I liked it. But like I was telling you
But
before, it was done by an American studio. Why do I feel that Japanese studios or wherever the studios are creating that they just want to do like a one off, so that's why they combine like all these storylines and they combine like as far as like where the characters meet, they
mm-hmm,
combine it so fast to just get the story out of the way and condense it into like 5 or 6 episodes.
because that's what's making money right now. Like I think, because remember we talked about this before. About 10 to 15 years ago, it wasn't cool to like anime.
Yeah,
You know, you had certain people, like I feel like most boys growing up watched Dragon Ball Z, and like that was kind of the gateway for a lot of us, Toonami. But it wasn't a cool thing to like anime. Now it's a cool thing to like anime. These are people that you never thought who like anime watch anime now, because I think people started to realize these are it's not just cartoons, but these are really good stories being told. But I think kind of the same thing that happened with the comic book movies, that anime is starting to hit its peak with popularity
yeah,
worldwide, and they're just trying to get as much money out of it as they can. So that's how I feel.
that's that's true. Like the anime communities throughout the country is really growing. Like I go to
Hmm.
these movie premieres, they're packed. Go to these comic cons, they're packed. People know all the
Hmm.
characters. I go to these bookstores, these manga sections, full of
Hmm.
kids, full of adults. It's and like we've seen throughout our lifetimes, it's going from something that used to be small and now it's just heavily. It is the culture. It's like heavily based in just like anime, manga, video game culture. Is just like it's really strong.
Hmm. So that, and to bring it back into the overall topic, I think that's why they're kind of like pushing
Pushing
out
it.
these live action adaptations it's because of that. I think it's about to reach its peak of popularity, and they're trying to find shows, especially ones like Yu Yu Hakusho, which is kind of like a niche anime, where it's like it has its cult following. It wasn't well, it was super popular when it came out, but
Yeah,
it's not as popular today with the modern anime. But a lot of these people don't know that this anime, a lot of people's favorite anime, takes a lot from Yu Yu Hakusho. But I think they're bringing a show like this, using a live adaptation of this, because they understand that it has a core fan base that probably would take their time to watch it. But they're gonna start pushing out so many live action animes. It's gonna be crazy, bro. My Hero, yes, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Demon Slayer live action. One Punch Man, which I think already has one, but I wouldn't be surprised they come out with another One Punch Man live adaptation. Just we're going to see a bunch of it. They tried to Dragon Ball Z plenty of times. They keep failing with Dragon Ball.
We may
It's just
see
some things that aren't meant, bro, to be live
we may
action.
see a Food Wars live action, Prison School live action,
I love Prison School.
High School DxD live action. There's no way
And
they can
some
pull
of
that off.
those,
There's no.
some of those are very doable. You know, some of those are very doable.
You know, that is doable. I mean, that last one I just mentioned is doable. It's probably be on a different. We'll skip that.